This one Higgsfield setting will drain your credits. And today I'm gonna show you what it is, why it matters, and how I have mine configured so that Claude still works fast without overspending on credits every time you make a decision. And once the setup is done, I'm gonna run a live generation for you to see. So by the end of this video, what you'll have is Higgsfield and Claude MCP setup so that you can run your generations through Claude, and you should already have a generation made. Let's get into it. So here's what we're going to be doing in this video. First of all, I'm gonna show you how to connect Higgsfield with Claude using an MCP, step by step. I'll walk through this with you. And then what I'll do is I'll walk you through how I configured permissions so that Claude can't spend your credits without asking for permission. And finally, I have 5 instruction prompts that I'll share with you that I use at the beginning of every Higgsfield session to keep my generations controlled and on a budget. And by the end of the video, we're gonna be running a live generation so that you see the workflow from start to finish, and that this is not just about configuring the settings. Okay, so we're gonna start with what an MCP is first, then we'll get to the setup. If you've never heard of MCP before, don't worry. It stands for Model Context Protocol. And all it is basically a standardized way that allows models like Claude to communicate directly inside of third-party platforms such as Higgsfield. Instead of the old traditional method of copying your prompts that you generate from Claude and pasting it into Higgsfield, you allow a door to be open between Claude and Higgsfield so that they can communicate with each other, and Claude can directly reach in and give the prompt directly to Higgsfield without you having to switch between the two platforms. So Higgsfield just officially launched their MCP server, which actually means that you can give a creative brief to Claude and have Claude go off to Higgsfield and generate images or videos that you need without ever having to leave your Claude chat. That's over 30 models of videos and images from Higgsfield just from a Claude chat. And here's where most people set it up wrong. So when you connect any MCP tool to Claude, Higgsfield, or anything else, Claude is going to ask you a set of questions or a set of permissions that will allow you to either always allow permissions or to ask you for permissions first. And the temptation is, especially because Higgsfield docs lean this way, is to set it to always allow. Now that sounds like the smart move. Less friction, faster generations, Claude just handles all of it. But here's what actually happens. Claude, mid-conversation, is gonna decide to do a test generation without your permission and use your credits. And depending on which model it decides to use, let's say VO3, which on average will cost you maybe 10, 20, 30 credits per generation, that's a significant chunk already out of your monthly budget. I'm not hypothesizing here. This is exactly what happens when you give Claude access to an expensive tool and allow it to use it freely. Now here's the nuance. Not every permission is going to need approvals though. Read actions. Browsing your generation history, seeing what models are available, or going through past projects. Those are zero risk. Allowing Claude to read your data that already exists, won't cost much. That's why always allowing these aspects is okay. Now the write and generation access. Generate video and generate image. Those are the two generations you're going to want to ask for approval first so that it doesn't spend your credits without approval. And with that, you'll know what's about to be generated, what model is going to be used, and what the cost is going to be before anything runs. Let me show you exactly how to configure this. The setup is gonna take just 2 minutes. I will make sure to go step by step for you. So step 1, you're gonna open Claude either on the desktop app or Claude AI. Either works. You're gonna go to settings, then connectors. Step 2, you're gonna click add custom connector. You're going to give it a name. I'll use Higgsfield for the sample. And in the URL field, paste this. Step 3, save it. Click connect. It's going to redirect you to Higgsfield to sign in and authorize. You need an existing Higgsfield account for this. If you don't have one yet, I'll link you to the sign up page in the description below. The authorization is a one-time thing. Do it once and you're always connected. Now, and this is a step most people skip because they're excited to get to the test. Before you close this panel, make sure to read through it and set your permissions. You'll see a list of tools that Higgsfield exposes to Claude. Things like generation history, list models, generate image, generate video, so on and so forth. The read tools, which list models, get history, browse your past generations, set those to always allow. The generate tools, generate image, generate video, set those to require approval. Okay, you're gonna do this right now. Take the time, go through the settings before your first generation. This is the settings that I was talking about in the beginning. Make sure to do this first because this is the most important part of the whole entire video. This is the whole point. Now, the rest is going to be standard setup. Now let me show you the other part that makes this work. How you actually talk to Claude once it has access to Higgsfield. So this part is going to be short but very important. Claude, left to its own judgment, will try to be helpful. And in context of a generation model, that often means generating multiple variants at higher resolutions, which at times can be thoughtful because you have options to choose from, but that's very expensive. So I give Claude explicit instructions at the start of every Higgsfield session, 5 lines before I ask for anything. Now here's what I ask for. When generating images, 2K resolution max. When I generate videos, 720p only. Generate 1 variant per request unless I specifically ask for more. Before every generation, tell me the model you're selecting and your estimated credit cost. Do not generate anything until I confirm. That's it. The 5 important lines. And here's the trick to this. I take these set of instructions and put it inside a Claude project. And now every time I go and start a Higgsfield session, Claude already knows what its restrictions are and what the boundaries are before I start the conversation. I'll leave the 5-line instructions in the description below so that you can copy and paste it into your Claude project. Now let's run the generation. So everything is now set. Permissions are in place, instructions are saved. Let's actually test it now. So I'm gonna keep this first sample very basic and simple because what I wanna focus on is to show you the flow working in real time more than I wanna show you a perfect output. And that comes in part 2. For now, 1 image, a simple brief, just to prove the setup works. I'm gonna prompt it now. Generate a lifestyle image, single person at a laptop, minimal workspace, focused energy, not a stock photo feel, 2K, 1 variant. Tell me the model and cost before generating. And boom. So here's an example of the prompt and request for approval before generating. So it's telling me here the model it's going to use is Nano Banana Pro via Google. It's a top tier photorealism, not a stock photo AI look as I asked for. The resolution is going to be 2K. The aspect ratio is going to be 3:2, a natural photography feel. The estimated cost is going to be roughly around 2 credits and it's only going to do 1 variant. And it's giving me as well the prompt. Again, I'm not gonna copy this. I'm just gonna go ahead and approve this, confirm it, and send it off. And again, it's going to ask me for permission, which is what I asked for. Again, you can see the estimated cost, the resolution, and the prompt that it's putting in and the model it's selecting. We're gonna click down here and allow once. All right, so here's the first generation. And to be honest, I mean, It's pretty straightforward. It's minimal, it's clean. You have one singular person who's working on their laptop with a mug and no clutter around them. Now, I may want to just make some more adjustments, whether it's lighting, composition, or the mood, and I can go ahead and prompt it to do that. And we can make some more variations. Let's say I wanted to work on the table a little bit. I want to see this individual working on their laptop on a clean desk, but more in a co-working space environment with much more detail in the background instead of just the black or white wall in the background. I'm gonna send that off. And again, I'm doing this now and not telling it what to ask approval for, because it should ask for that first, as you see here. And it's gonna tell me again that it's gonna use Nano Banana Pro, Google Resolution, aspect ratio. I'm gonna change it a little bit and ask it to change the model. For this variant, can you go ahead and change the model to the most recent GPT model, please? All right, so it's gathered that the most recent GPT model is Image 2 by OpenAI. Resolution is the same. Quality is gonna be high quality. Aspect ratio is gonna be 2 by 3. The estimated cost, roughly 2 credits, and it's keeping the one variant, okay? Now it has the prompt again, and I'm going to approve this. So now you can see above here that it was a Nano Banana Pro generation, and now it's working on a GPT Image 2 for me. So now I'm able to compare back to back the same prompt, some minor adjustments with a different model. And there you have it. An individual on a clean working desk space with some people in the background, brick walls, and there's more detail now in the image. Very impressive because it's all generated. And that's it. Now keep in mind, this is just the baseline. I'm going to put Higgsfield and Claude to the real test. So don't forget to push subscribe and the bell icon so that you get notified as soon as that video is released. Now before we wrap up here, let me point out a few limitations with Honesty compared to a clean demo. Credit costs are real. Higgsfield's Pro plan will give you about 1,000 credits per month. And if you're consistently generating the premium models at 1080p with multiple variants, that budget is gonna go out fast. What I did was generate 720 and one variant at a time, and it still helps me manage my credits a little bit better. But you should go into this understanding the true economics. Model quality varies. Not every model is gonna be useful for every brief. Clean 3.0 is gonna be solid for motion, lip syncing, and C-Dance is gonna be phenomenal with actions and movements and camera angles. Where Imagine 5.5 from ChatGPT will give you great photorealism images. The wrong model for a brief you have can generate poor results no matter how good your prompt is. And product fidelity is still a gap. If your product has a specific packaging, maybe a certain logo, a certain look or twist to it, AI will try to approximate and not replicate it. This is not a Higgsfield limitation, by the way. This is just where we are with the current state of generative models. Know this going in so you're not disappointed. The setup is done, the permissions trap is bypassed, and now you're running live generations. Everything you need to connect Higgsfield to Claude and start generating without burning through your credits fast. And again, the prompt instructions that I used are in the description below. Simply just copy and paste it into your Claude project. And every time you start your Higgsfield session now, it'll have the 5-line instructions. And if you actually want to go in deeper, you want to build and launch something with AI, then we have Yaru's course. That's where the full system lives. I'll see you on the next one.